so to speak, in our human terms. So she was grounded, so to speak. And then direction turned. And she went to India. That's how it works. The great Missio Dei. The sense of mission. So that we obey the Great Commission that God has entrusted to us with present reality, with this sense of the imperative that we must go. So that's the first C, commission, right? Sense of authority. The second one, we will now look into Mark's version of the Great Commission. That's in Mark chapter 16, the end of Mark's Gospel. I know why I have left it unfinished. I was wondering why was I talking about Africa and all that. That's how it goes, right? Mark. Now, Mark's Gospel, in short and sharp, is very fast moving. I get the connection now. You know, if you read first chapter of Mark, boom, you know, it goes. It's like some of these blockbuster action movies, right? You know, start with action, bang, bang, bang. And you'll keep on the edge of your seat all the way. Mark is like that. Now, if you read the first chapter, you find at least 3 miracles being done. And then we come across a phrase somewhere where it says, you know, then Jesus went on to the next town, the next village, to preach the gospel, because this is what I'm sent for. So he didn't get distracted. He didn't lose sight of the fact. Now, this is the thing behind why Africa could have been one of the first continents, if not the first, to be evangelized, instead of one of the last ones, the dark continent. You see, if you examine a map of Christianity in the first century or two, you will find a great number of Christian centers, the dots all around the Mediterranean, and especially the northern coast of Africa. It was a highly evangelized place. You know, Alexandria and all those places. The problem is, I think, they did not do what Jesus did, which is to go to the next town, the next village, the next, you know. They sat there and fossilized. And between northern Africa, there lay the great Saharan desert. All of the rest of Africa remained dark for centuries to come. So this is what the Great Commission should do to us. We need to have this sense of moving on, keep going. Sometimes you meet a roadblock here, that's fine. You keep going to the next town, the next village, and you keep going. And this is how the mission spreads. Now, in Mark's Gospel account, chapter 16, what is the C here? The fourth great C here is commitment. And it is about accountability. Right? When you talk about commitment, you are committed to something. In the same breath, it means you are accountable for it. You must answer for it. It's not free and easy, you know, happy-go-lucky. Just go when you feel like it. Now, I take this from Mark's version of the Great Commission because you will find these two things coming together. The going forth and the response to that commandment. So first in verse 15, Jesus said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. So that's his short and sharp version of the Great Commission. So you notice there, the command is issued, right? Go into all the world. And then in verse 18, it records for us, or not in verse 18, in verse 20, the last verse, all right? It records for us the effect of this. What happened after that? It says in verse 20, and they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them and confirming the word with signs following. So you put these two simple words together. Go ye into all the world. And then in verse 20, they went. So go, and they went. They actually went. This is what commitment is all about. Now, there are some people who are like that. They say, here am I, Lord, send me. And next year, they say, here am I, Lord, again, send me. You know, it's like, here I was, here I am, and here I will always be. Now, there must come a point in time where you get up and go. You can't be sitting down waiting for the vision to happen. The point in commitment is making it happen. Going forward. And when you talk about going or commitment, finally it boils down to an act of faith. It must be a move by faith. You got to... Some people are too careful. They weigh everything, you know. Well, to be sure, the church needs all kinds of people. Like the Great Commandment just now we talked about. You need both the Martha temperaments and the Mary temperaments. You know, Mary type. I'm more like Mary type. You know, I like to sit down, contemplate. I'm a dreamer more than a doer most times, you know. I can do that all. But I've got to balance it, right? There are some Marthas around, and praise God for them. Church cannot work. We've had no lunch if there are no Marthas around, right? And the Martha is the doer. You know, Mary is the dreamer. But you've got to put these two together. So you need all kinds. So, there are some people who are very careful. They weigh all the pros and cons. They think, they want to have everything worked out before they get going. So it's good to think through, but finally it will always have to be an act of faith when you move out. And the best example for us in the Old Testament is none other than Abraham.